Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. Okay, Core Discord bringing us in again. Episode 21, It All Boils Down to This. This is a big one for us today, Jack. I know that. We are the Tuesday after the college football championship between Michigan and Washington, after the final the 5 games are set for the NFL, and some interesting things that happened down in the Celtics game at the end that I know Jaylen Brown and Coach Missoula weren't too happy about. So what do you got for me?
No, a lot of things to talk about today, really, with, the NFL season's over, going into the playoffs. College football season's over. We'll start off by talking about the game and obviously the Celtics game. But yeah, that college football game, we love to do this. I love to do this 10 times. If they played 10 times, how many times? If they played 10 times, there's a good chance Michigan probably would have won that game 10 times. There's the better team. Maybe there's one world out there where Penix really goes off, but I don't think against that Michigan defense he ever was gonna. Michigan was just the better team. It wasn't that interesting of a game. There's not much to say about it. We'll get to Kevin's call. It's his last. He's been our college football guy. It's his last one of the year. He's a big Washington guy. Had a lot of money on the Huskies. Ended up losing that, but there was not much to talk about from the game.
I'd go over under 7.5. I still think that Washington has enough talent, and well, they were in the game till the holding call.
I guess, but they were in the game. But at the end of the day, Michigan was a lot better. Like I said. It had the feel. This is the one time how it probably isn't 10 out of 10. I made this comparison like maybe in the third quarter when it was still kind of a game. Kind of had the feel of. Do you remember the year where I'll be his name? Deshaun Watson beat Alabama.
Yes. And
like Clemson wasn't as good as Alabama. That they weren't. When they had Trevor Lawrence, they were better than them. They killed him and everyone. But when they had him. And Deshaun Watson, they weren't the better team, but they had the better quarterback, and Alabama didn't really have a great quarterback that year and all that, and they beat him. And that's kind of like that. That's the blueprint to win this game, and everything has to go right for you to win it like that. And it just didn't go right for them. They made the holding penalties, and
I thought offensive defense, the line of scrimmage was dominated by our friends from Michigan all the way through, and that was the key. And what you told me that the offensive line for Washington was the winner of the best offensive line award. Yeah. So I agree with that. I think Penix played average. They played like they had never been there before. Not that Michigan's ever been there before, but again. Harbaugh's been to the Super Bowl, and the coach hasn't. So you got some Kevin stuff for us? Is that what I hear you?
Yeah, and then we'll keep talking because there's a lot to say about Harbaugh and Michigan this whole season and all that, but it's not as long a call this week.
We got 3 minutes.
Doing this with 2 minutes left in the game.
Ooh.
For me personally, pretty heartbroken by this. As everybody knows, I love Michael Penix, and this is just a tough way to see him go out, just out there battling, hurt.
He was like dead on the field.
And overall, just a really tough night. Michigan's defense has been tremendous in all facets. I think the biggest takeaway from the game is the trenches. That Michigan has dominated on both fronts for the entire game. Just that first quarter, just ran the ball down Washington's throat. That was incredible. And then Washington did a great job in terms of holding off that offense for, a couple quarters. But, if you're Washington, you at least had to score 28 points this game to win. And Washington's defense did the job, but Michigan's defense was just totally neutralized Michael Penix tonight.
Sounds like a broken man.
Yeah, he does.
I could go on a very expletive-laden rant about just how pathetic I think J.J. McCarthy is with him brushing his teeth with his left hand.
Oh, my God.
His therapist is meditating. Just the whole thing. There's nobody that, frankly, I want to see on the Patriots at the quarterback position less than him. Apparently he has great intangibles. I don't care. He can't throw the ball. When Washington stopped the run, he couldn't do anything. So that's just my little J.J. McCarthy bit.
Except for he
just
went deep fourth quarter.
I don't know. Bad vibes from him. He's one of those guys, just don't like him.
I agree with
that. But
yeah,
just overall,
he's just like his coach.
Got to give Washington credit for an amazing season.
Yes.
The crown jewel of the Pac-12 in their last season. It was just an incredible year. Great year for college football. For myself, this has been great to call into the podcast, even though Jim complains about my, voice messages here being too long. I've really enjoyed doing it.
We enjoy having you,
It's
Kevin,
been great
by
to
the
get
way.
back into college football. It's something I will continue to
Kev.
do going forward. I love betting on all the games, watching it every Saturday, waking up excited for game day, and going through all the slates. And, this has been awesome, guys. I think fantastic year for college football, and I think next year the games are going to mean even more on a week-to-week basis with the 12-team playoffs. So that's going to be excellent next year.
Yeah,
so,
I heard that.
that's it for me. Signing off for the college football season. I don't know if I'm going to be doing any more calls moving forward. We'll see about that.
We'll definitely have him
I think
back.
Jimbo will be glad to not hear my voice for
We'll have you back. Don't worry, Kev.
35 to 40 weeks or so. But, that's it. See you guys.
Always make fun of Jimbo there. Not nice. Not
Well,
nice.
the
No.
other one you pick on him.
I
So,
pick on
but-
everybody though, Jack. That's the way it goes. Hey, I'll bring him back. What we got to pick us? What's he going to come back for? Girls lacrosse or
Yeah,
something?
well, he'll talk
Field
Xavier
hockey?
basketball and basketball. He'll get into when
Oh,
we
yeah,
get
and-
March Madness and whatever.
Yeah, that's good. We'll make him the NBA guy, the
He'll
NCAA guy.
he'll be watching the NFL playoffs and all that. But so Kevin, he did give us a lot of picks this whole year. He ended up going 61, 57, and 3, and probably in terms of like unit wise, he bet more at the end of the season. I
Yeah,
think a little
lost
bit,
more.
and he lost more at the end of the season. So probably evens out units, but he did go 8-2 in locks. So if you put more units on those, then he would have been plus. So all in all, good year. Kevin gets back into college football. And,
Yes.
The funny thing was, he said all year that Washington was going to lose, and then they won him over really quickly, and now he's all depressed that they lost. But Michigan, Jim Harbaugh. The crazy thing is this should be a big day for me because I was a Michigan fan. I started to like Michigan after Trey Burke hit that shot. We had discussed that when we did our basketball draft.
Yep.
And Brady Hoke was coaching this team. I remember I think they lost or they either won a game in quadruple overtime to Penn State when it was Bill O'Brien's first year or second year when they sucked or something.
Right.
And Michigan just was horrible. And I used to root for them. And I remember rooting for them when they had Jabril Peppers on the team, when they were playing Ohio State, and they would lose all the time. And I was a huge proponent I was supportive of them hiring Jim Harbaugh. You always said fraud, like Paul Feinbaum said. And look at this. He's proved everyone wrong. He's a really good coach, but he's kind of an asshole. So that's why.
that doesn't help.
He's ruined this for me.
Help.
I
You're
should
right.
be celebrating the Michigan National Championship today, but I can't. But you got to admit, he's a really good coach, and that was a great hire by Michigan. And at the time, I know you said a million times he would never win anything, and he did. So
Well, I didn't say a million times. I said a couple 100,000 times.
Yeah.
You got to give him credit. I had to pick both. I picked them both times. So I picked.
No,
them,
I know, but I'm just
I had
saying.
gone that route. I just don't like him. I mean, we'll talk later about what not liking him, but let's go back to what Kevin was talking about. J.J. McCarthy, I remember watching him in that Penn State game. I thought he was absolutely nothing. And I totally agree with it. But then in the fourth quarter of the game on last night, they opened up the offense a little bit. He had a couple big passes. So that's probably where, and I can't see him being drafted in the first round, but that's probably where these scouts, they look at him and they see this. The intangibles is that he can make the pass. The intangibles is that he brushes his teeth left-handed or right-handed, or what the hell he's doing.
I just don't know if he's good enough to play in the NFL. And, is he really going to win? Can you see him winning a Super Bowl in the NFL?
Well, Brock Purdy could win a Super Bowl in the NFL. He's not much different than Brock Purdy.
I don't know. Brock Purdy does more things that he does in the NFL than I've seen from J.J. McCarthy.
Brock Purdy also got a couple years of experience under his belt too.
Yeah, look, you can be the J.J. McCarthy guy. I'll hold you to that when he's a backup and never starts in the NFL. Is out of the NFL in 3 years. And,
First of all, I will never be a J.J. McCarthy guy.
Well,
I'm
you
just
are.
arguing
You're-
that point now with you because it's what we do. But I don't see him. No, he's not going anywhere. I agree with you on that. But the other quarterback, Penix, is he a first-round draft talent or not?
Well, he had a rough night. I mean, he was getting hit a lot, but he did miss some guys. That might probably was his worst game of the season, right? I mean, just
Most
not
likely.
good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about him. Look, I'd probably rather have the kid from LSU at the end of the day if I'm drafting one of those types of quarterbacks. I don't know.
That's probably a good point. And he won the Heisman. He threw a lot of yards, ran for a lot of yards. The Penix, the thing about Washington is this. They tied for the national championship back in the early 90s, and now they finally made it back. They might never, ever, ever, ever be back at this point again because they're going to the Big Ten. They're going to be stuck in the middle of the Big Ten. They got a nice little coach going there, but they had, breaking up the Pac-10. How many of those Pac-10 teams made the national championship tournament anyway over the course of the last 15, 20 years?
No, it's just them.
Well,
I think they're the
USC did, and
Well, okay,
Oregon.
I thought you meant the playoff.
They made the championship game. Oregon did.
I don't know how many yet. Oregon made the playoff one year. And Oregon made the championship, and that's Cam Newton. They lost to Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
Yeah, and then USC. Yeah. No, the Pac-12. They're all going to the Big Ten. Washington. Yeah, they may never get back there, but.
Okay,
nobody thought they were going to get there in the first place, honestly.
That's true, but both teams are undefeated. The only two left undefeated teams in the nation.
Well, yeah, because Florida State did lose.
Florida State didn't end up losing, right? And now there's only one undefeated team. And like I said, I hate to give credit, but I give credit to our friends from Michigan. They had a great scheme. Now, you talked about this morning to me. Their scheme was, don't let the quarterback beat you. Get big offensive defensive lines and run the football. Who did that before?
So it's Alabama. It's a 15-0 team, and there's not that many of them in the history of college football. But it's going to be. It's not. I don't want to say forgotten, but it's not going to be like one of these like 2019 LSU talked about type teams. Because honestly, I don't think there's going to be a ton. Like, I could be wrong, but in terms of like maybe in the trenches you'll have good NFL players, but in terms of like skill name positions like that LSU team has, you're not going to have total dominance in the NFL.
Right.
And that I think is what actually leads to like a legendary college team. Like when they talk about those Miami teams, you list off all the NFL players, so that kind of helps too. And it's just like one of those like Mark Ingram, like Trent Richardson type Alabama teams. That's what it was. It was the running back's the best player. You don't make mistakes. You play physical defense. The other team doesn't score many points. You control the line of scrimmage, clock runs, and they won. They're just a real solid 15-0 football team.
So did Harbaugh figure that out, or did
No,
he
but
just
he's been
fall
doing
into
that
his
forever.
lap?
He has been trying to do that from day one. That is what he has built from day one. Look at their past 3 wins against Ohio State. Look at the first time he finally beat Ohio State. He just ran it down their throat. He has been doing that since day one.
So why was he successful this year, not the years before?
This was every single year he got better and better and better and better talent. His offensive line this year, like remember we said they had 6 pros,
yes,
and the one kid, their best one, got hurt, didn't affect him at all.
Right.
He had more talent. That's why he finally got to a point where he had the best talent. It all worked out for him. He didn't have, I'm not going to say it's an excuse. They did win in overtime against Alabama. They were a couple of bounces away from losing that game. They stopped on 4th and 2. They didn't have to play Georgia, who probably was a little bit. They probably were the best team in the country, Georgia, besides Michigan. They probably were better than Alabama, but they can't say they still won the games.
Plus, he returned a lot of players, right? He had a very veteran squad, and that's the thing they were talking about McCarthy. McCarthy was learning. I mean, they always have to make a story about something. McCarthy was the story they're going to make. And I know Kevin talked about the psychologist and the trying to do things opposite, but he had lost. He got beat pretty bad with TCU. He shit the bed last year. Give the kid credit. He came back. I don't think he makes the NFL either. But the Alabama formula, they're absolutely right. That is the way. If you have the talent on the line of scrimmage, you're going to win. So there's no doubt about that.
The story of that game is the kid from Everett, Mikey, whatever his name is.
Mikey.
The kid on Michigan. He's the story of Michigan. He's playing great. Then the one more thing I wanted to say is the last 3 quarters, since Joe Burrow did win that national title, the quarterbacks to win national titles, 4 national championships, Mac Jones, Stetson Bennett, and J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, we're getting back to like the A.J. McCarron types winning national titles and stuff like that.
So I want to go back to your point about the best team and Georgia and all that, and I think it's a great point. If we had been in a 12-team playoff, would Michigan have come out on top, or would they made the championship game, or would we have seen something different?
I think probably they were the best team, so yes, but Georgia would have been a harder game than Washington for them. So they would have had to beat Washington, Alabama, and Georgia.
Okay.
Maybe not all. Yeah, they would have, they would have. They would have had to beat all 3. Yeah, it is going to be hard to win national titles.
Well, they would have. They wouldn't have to do that.
And the Big Ten are going to get more teams in.
Yes.
Like I think Ohio State might win 50% of the time against Washington. Alabama wins, I think, more than 50% of the time against Washington. Georgia wins more than 50% of the time against Washington. Now you don't avoid all those teams make it now next year.
What about a healthy Florida State team? What about a healthy Florida State team? No, they would have gone 50. I think healthy Washington State goes. Florida State team goes.
Oh, with Washington, close.
Yes,
but with Michigan, they get killed.
Okay,
Michigan would have killed.
That's a fair point.
With Jordan Travis fully healthy, Michigan kills them. They kill them. They would dominate them. They would.
They would. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't totally agree.
I think the teams were Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia.
Ohio State wasn't even in the class of Alabama, Georgia, and Michigan.
Yeah, I think
not even in the class.
No, I think
they shit the bed against Michigan.
Who Who gave Michigan the best game this year? Alabama. Who gave Michigan the second best game this year? It wasn't Washington. It was Ohio State.
Well, we'd have to look back. Somebody might have given them a tough game,
No,
like
Ohio,
Illinois,
like Maryland. No,
Illinois.
Ohio State.
Rutgers or something.
Ohio
like
State. No, Ohio State gave them a tough. They came down to the last possession. Ohio State, I still think, was probably the fourth best team in the country. I'll say that. I think they might have. I think they might have been better than Washington.
They might have been. They might not have been better than Oregon. You never know.
No,
I mean, that's
that's
the thing we're going to get though next year. At least we're going to get a 12-team playoff. And you're going to win 3 games to win the national championship if you're a top 4 seed. So at least this year would have been nice to see it. I want to just go back to one other thing you said about the Rose Bowl. I don't know if we mentioned this last week or not. Do you think the Rose Bowl would be the place for the national championship all the time?
Yeah, that'd be perfect. But they hate the traffic, and there's not enough luxury seats, so it's never going to happen.
Right, but it's a great venue.
It's a money thing. But yeah, it'd be perfect if every single year it was at the same place. They turn this whole because it's this big thing. It's this because it's what would we determine? It's an 11-game playoff. It's
right.
This, you got 10 games, and it all leads to the one Rose Bowl because it's obviously it's the most storied, most historic bowl game, anyways, right?
Correct. That's
so
correct.
The Rose Bowl's already it's iconic. Just turn that into the Rose Bowl is now the game that decides the best team in the country. It decides the end-all be-all national champion. Like we get now, like there used to never be that. It'd be like they vote the national champion. You play
right.
The bowl,
That's what I grew up with.
But
right.
the Rose Bowl,
that's what I grew up with.
We set it there, and you play at that stadium, and that's a great state. It's just I don't know. It's perfect there. They'll never do it.
Never do it. Never do it. You know why? They don't do the Super Bowl there either. So never do it. I think you're going to see.
Did they put?
They did a Super Bowl there once. There was a couple Super Bowls there.
Yeah, and they played the World Cup final there, but they're never going to go. They're going to rather go to SoFi Stadium now.
Correct, because there's all the amenities that you need for it.
Mm-hmm.
So just to wrap up our college, what was your locks? What did you unlock wise?
Oh, I don't remember because I lost like the last 3. I was around 500. It might have been even a game under 500. So I don't know.
Okay, so we had a good year with Kevin. And Kevin, I know I make fun of you all the time, but we'll have you back. Maybe college basketball, as long as we don't talk Xavier too much. We bring Kevin back, and we really appreciate your input. We'll get you back in the studio if we can. Jack's checking something. We must have more audio. We're gonna switch now, Jack, from the college football world, which is now over, to what's beginning to be the wacky weekend of Wildcard weekend since they eliminated the bye. 5 total games coming up this weekend for the NFL, and again, it's weird. I don't think there's going to be a lot of good games. But we'll see.
Well, before we get to that, there's something that happens before Wildcard weekend is Black Monday, and
I forgot about that.
Fired. And the big news today is that the Titans did fire Rabel, so he's sitting right there. I probably thought it was 50-50 that Belichick stays. Going to bed last night, now I'd probably say 25% chance he stays. I think they're probably going to try and make that switch. I do.
I don't know.
I think that's perfect. I think that's
Vrabel's
exactly
the wrong choice.
Familiar with the crafts and all that. I think that they're going to prefer that than making an outside hire.
I still think he stays.
So
I'm going to go, and he could be fired right now. You have to check your phone. I think he stays.
Yeah, no, I don't. They'll wait a little bit, but they can't wait too long. They have to make this decision by the end of the week because interviews and coaches and GMs and everything. Right. So there's another guy who thinks he should stay. Here we got on the Today Show.
Old coach, as you know, Bill Belichick.
Gronk.
Speculation swirling around. What may be next for him? Does he stay in New England? Does he perhaps go out west? What does Gronk think?
Well, I know that Coach Belichick definitely wants to stay with the New England Patriots. He's a Patriot for life. He's a 6-time Super Bowl champion. He's like grandfather clause in. I would say it's all up to Mr. Kraft on what direction he wants to go with the New England Patriots. And in the end, when it really comes down to it, I think he's going to keep Coach Bill Belichick as the head coach for at least another year.
You think he stays?
Yes, I do.
Even with the record they had this year?
Yes, I mean, it happens. The NFL, it's so competitive. Yeah. I mean, everyone's good out there. There's a salary cap. It's a fair league, and it happens. And he's going to bounce back. He's still an unbelievable coach. Yeah. He knows how to use his talent when they're out on the field. He just got to go out there this offseason and bring some offensive players in, and then he'll be just fine.
You heard it here first. Yeah.
I just love Gronk. The fact that he's on the Today Show.
Yeah, I know.
It's the way he speaks, the way he talks. He's always fun to listen to. But yeah, he
Gronk is everywhere.
He's a big supporter of Bill Belichick. I mean, like Edelman, all those guys, they all support Bill Belichick. There's a few who hate him, like Trent Brown, who are on the team now. But look,
I think he stays. I'm going with he stays.
It's hard to let him leave. It's hard to let him leave because someone says
right. I agree with you on that.
It's like if he like the good roster argument. If he goes and takes over a good roster of the Chargers, who are just right now looking for a coach, need a coach to really get them everything put together, and he goes and wins there. It's a bad look on the Crafts, especially if you hire Vrabel or something and he does nothing for you. Because Vrabel, if you hire Vrabel, you need the best.
Vrabel.
You need the best like offensive coordinator possible. He's not an offensive mind.
No, he's all offensive. He's a trenches guy. Vrabel is. He's going to win He wants to win. He won with Derrick Henry, right? Pounding the football. Ryan Tannehill. I think they got to. If they're going to get rid of him, they got to go outside the box completely.
Talking about Vrabel winning, I could be wrong. This could be. I heard this somewhere. I think the year that they were the 1 seed, or the year that they beat the Patriots, they were never the 1 seed. I don't think. But the year they beat the Patriots, their offensive coordinator, I'm pretty sure, was Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm pretty sure it was Arthur Smith. And then after those two guys left, they've really struggled the past couple years. And I know their quarterback's not great or anything, but look, the ideal scenario is you never do this, but you get him in as defensive coordinator, you keep Bill as your coach, you bring back Josh McDaniels as the quarterback coach, you keep Bill O'Brien as the offensive coordinator, and you have those 3 guys there and then you replace Bill Belichick with one of those 3 guys, and you get if it's bad again next year or something like that. Then you have all 3 of those guys in your system. They're never going to hire McDaniels, but then you can hire.
I still think you've got to.
They're not.
You got to move Bill out of one of the roles, and my guess is the role you want to move him out of is the GM role. But that you can't bring Vrabel. Vrabel's not going to come in and be the GM. I think if they're the Mayo, Vrabel, whatever they're thinking, you do not want to bring a Belichick guy in here. It's just like. Whenever you replace a great coach, the next person coming in has got an almost impossible job because you're never going to live up to the standard that a great coach did. Like I'm going to go back. I'm going to bring Temple in here because it's in my mind that when Cheney left, they went for a seasoned, experienced Philadelphia coach in Dunphy. So they went completely outside the box, right?
Okay.
Think about it. When John Wooden left, who did they bring in? They brought in Gene Bartow. They brought guys from completely outside of UCLA, and Bill Belichick is up in that level of coach. The only person that did differently was Duke because they're a bunch of babies. But I think you got to go completely outside of the arena, or you keep him for another year, and make him give up some of the GM title.
Yeah, I look, everyone. I think still it's 50-50 right now. With people, with the Crafts, everything. I guess they're working it out. He's gonna make them fire him.
Yes,
because here's they asked him the question yesterday. Here's Bill talking yesterday.
Would it surprise you in any way if Robert Kraft decided that moving on from you would be best for the football team?
Yeah, I'm going to focus on what I'm going to control and focus on, and that's my work ethic and my effort to do what I can to help the Patriots organization, which I'm heavily invested in.
Which I'm heavily invested in is how he ends that.
Yeah,
he's
because
heavily
he has invested money.
He's got a year left on his contract.
He's
of
not
course
stupid.
He's heavily invested. He's showing up to work.
He's not stupid. I don't know. It's kind of weird. What you do, it's Kraft's got to make a decision, and that's hard for him sometimes. It's tough. 24 years, a long time. What I try to tell people is it's never going to be like it was ever again. Never going to have 20 years stretch of dominance like they had New England. It might happen somewhere else, but if you look at over the world of the NFL, except for maybe the Steelers who keep winning, but they haven't really won as much.
Well, it's like the Packers too.
The Packers won in the 60s, then they died for three decades, then they won again in the 90s, and they won again with 2 different quarterbacks. I think it's just people have to get realistic. It's never going to be like it was. So an 8-9 team might be as good as you're going to get for a year or two. And you might never see the 16-1 or 17-1 teams that they had because they dominated a division that sucked, and he dominated. He knew what he was doing. How come he doesn't know what he's doing now and he did then? That's what my question is.
No, look, I'd keep him. And you can only speculate on this so much. Eventually, it's just we got to wait for it to happen and see what happens. There's how many times you turn the radio, you hear something, you turn the TV, talking about Bill Belichick, is he staying or going? So at some point, you know what, they're just going to make the decision, and we're going to have to live with it and see what happens and see what happens in the future because I'm very interested if he gets fired to see his next move. That'll be interesting.
And didn't you have another take this weekend, which I found interesting, was that Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah, we didn't get into the.
Oh, do you have that on video?
All I hear, no,
on audio rather.
What audio? I made it myself. What is
okay,
the audio? The audio is me talking about.
Okay,
it.
I'll let Jack give his take.
Yeah,
Go.
All I hear about is the fact that Bill Belichick sucks after Tom Brady left. And nobody has pointed out that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they cut cap a little bit after Brady left last year, and they got a better record this year. They had a better record.
With Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, with Baker Mayfield as a quarterback. So nobody talks about that. That's all I'll say about that. There's nothing. I've never heard. I had to figure that out myself. I didn't see somebody tweet that. I made that stat up myself. I looked this up. Is this real that they won more games this year than they did last year with Tom Brady? The immortal Tom Brady on their team. They won more games with Baker Mayfield. And then Bill Belichick can't win without Tom Brady. Well,
so the question is, if Brady if Brady hadn't won that, was that a COVID Super Bowl anyway at home?
Yeah,
right?
but
Brady hadn't won that Super Bowl.
That was Aaron Rodgers' fault.
That was
Aaron
LaFleur's
Rodgers'
fault. LaFleur's fault.
No, didn't go for it. How about Aaron Rodgers? Brady threw 2 interceptions in the second half of that game. Aaron Rodgers did nothing with it.
2 or 3?
Nothing.
2? I thought
it could have been 3, but
he was absolutely
horrible, and Rodgers could do nothing. He did not make them pay for it. Their defense bailed them out that game, and then the Chiefs, they had like you playing offensive line for them.
That's good.
It was not good.
That's funny.
But yeah, if he didn't win that Super Bowl, whatever. He did win that Super Bowl. Who cares?
Okay, so that's enough on our friends from Bill Belichick land. I still think he stays. You think he stays or goes?
I think he goes. I said I think he goes.
Okay, so
they're going to go after Rabel.
Oh, you think they'll go for Mike Vrabel?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see what happens. We'll see who's right. You're probably going to be right here, but I'd like to see them keep him and he screw everybody. He's going to tell everybody to go screw.
If he does that, then they're getting rid of him. That's not
right.
That's not. He doesn't hold all the cards.
That's right.
He can't tell people to go screw.
He holds all the cards though.
They have
a contract.
He doesn't. If
they have a contract with him.
Okay, he holds the cards in that sense, but he can't just be like, "Go screw yourselves. I'm doing it my way again."
No, he
can't.
I was being verbose.
Okay.
When it comes to that. Okay, what's next? So NFL, do you have any other audio for me on him?
No, but we
no
should get into the playoff games. I mean, we're starting up pretty soon. The Chiefs got screwed by the Bills.
Oh, let's go right in order though.
Let's just start with the Dolphins-Bills game. The Bills, Josh Allen's playing like. He makes some. We said this before. He makes some of the dumbest plays you'll ever see. Some of the dumbest interceptions ever. Then he'll make some great plays. And the Dolphins are frauds. I saw the Patriots beat more teams over 500 than them. The Dolphins are a mess. I'm still a little bit worried about them versus the Chiefs. Even though it's at Arrowhead, there should be no way they lose. But never know. I need the Chiefs to win that game. But if the Bills had just lost that game and the Dolphins had put them away like they should have in that game, then the Chiefs would be playing the Steelers right now with no T.J. Watt, who I think is the worst playoff team in the history of the NFL.
And the Dolphins would have to play Buffalo again. So it's 6-1, half dozen the other. I don't know. I wouldn't worry Miami going to the cold weather.
I'm not.
First game on the docket. Let's go right down the Saturday games. Cleveland versus Houston. That's the first game on the docket. Going to come off. That's
couldn't care less. Neither of those two teams have a chance at winning it all. Honestly, that's a game that doesn't.
Well, you never know. Joe Flacco magic could work though.
Yeah, cool.
Right? Joe Flacco magic.
No, it couldn't.
So you still think the Chiefs are going to win?
No, I really don't think they're going to win. Like they could. I think they could. I don't. I'm starting to think Baltimore's going to win the year of the Hardballs.
So you're going to go with, let's give me here, Alabama. Houston, Cleveland. Houston's at home. Both with
I'll go
Stroud's
Cleveland because that was my pick earlier in the year.
Was your
I'll
pick.
stay with
right,
Cleveland,
right.
but
Okay.
I don't care about that game.
Okay, I'll take Houston at home in that game because Flacco's eventually going to crap the bed.
So that's to play. They reseed.
No.
So are you sure?
I'm pretty sure they don't reseed.
I think they do reseed.
I can pontificate while you look that up on your phone.
No, I'm not gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure they do reseed. So we won't try and speculate in future matchups. All right, what's the next game?
Next game is the Miami-Kansas City game.
Yeah, so that's the one on Peacock, right?
Yeah, that's the one we had to pay for.
Yeah, this is a little old man take on that. A classic legendary radio host here.
Kind of just greedy, selfish human would come up with an idea like that. This idea that I have to now find a way to set this up on my television. Peacock, I've never even heard of it. Okay. Now, how much do they charge? What are they charging? $5.99, $6.99, $7.99? I hope not $8.99. That's a bit much.
He hasn't even heard of Peacock.
That's
Everyone's
so funny.
pissed about them putting that game on Peacock. Pissed.
Hey, I will say right now, though, the future is here. You're going to see Amazon, and you're going to Prime. You're going to see Peacock, and CBS Paramount. That's the future. That's the way it's going to go. That's where the money is. They used to just have channels 3, 6, and 10 in Philadelphia. That was all you could get. And that's who had 1 game or 2 games or 3 games or 4 games. This is what's going to happen. ESPN Plus. Oh, I got to pay for that. Well, then pay for it if you want to watch a game. So Francesca's an old fart anyway. He don't mean nothing.
What's the word he says here? They're greedy with the humans, does he say?
Human.
Which is
That's because he's from New York.
Yeah,
that's his New York.
Human.
So I think this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to work. This is how they're going to make their money in order to pay the contract back. You know, this is NBC said, I need to put a game on Peacock. I need to drive traffic to Peacock. If you want to watch the game, you buy Peacock. And then you buy Peacock, you never cancel it. That's how they get you. They suck in like that.
If Tony Dungy or Jason Garrett is calling that game, I will. I love the Chiefs and all. I'm not watching. If it's on Peacock and Jason Garrett or Tony Dungy, and it might be one of them, is like with Collinsworth's kid. Oh no. What's the next game? I get the Chiefs. Next game.
Okay, so next we go to Sunday. First game is the Pittsburgh-Buffalo game. Pittsburgh-Buffalo.
Yeah, I said Pittsburgh's the worst playoff team ever, so I'll go Buffalo.
And Mason Rudolph, I think Rudolph is starting that game. So
don't let him play against the Browns.
I'll tell you something. The irony is, Buffalo could shit the bed like they always. If he plays like he did last week,
not against the Steelers.
I don't know.
Bailey Zappi beat the Steelers.
I know he did. I'm still going to pick Buffalo in there because I had Buffalo as my Super Bowl winner, right? Got to pick them.
Buffalo
right?
and the Eagles, they're good. Okay,
the Eagles suck. Next game is probably one of the better games. Green Bay at Dallas. Interesting matchup.
Dallas hasn't lost at home this year. They're not losing that game. They're not. Dak's got 2 home games. If he wins that, he's got another home game, and then he's got to go to probably San Francisco, and they have like a 2% chance of winning there. But anything can happen.
I think again, it should be a good game, but Dallas will beat them pretty handily. The night game on Sunday Night Football. Los Angeles Rams versus the Detroit Lions. Again, I think this might be the best game of the weekend. This one and the Philly game might be the best game of the weekend.
I think Dan Campbell gets massively outcoached here and ends up losing this game. And Stafford shoves it down there.
He gets met by McVay?
Yeah, McVay might be the best coach in the league. Yeah.
He could be. That's about a quarterback game.
It's like
that's quarterback game. That's
emotional. He'll be way too emotional. Same with Goff. So yeah.
But they'll be at home.
I know.
And it's in a dome, so Los Angeles don't worry about weather.
I'm gonna go. I think the Rams are going to win that game. I'm assuming the Lions are pretty big favorites. They're favorites. I think the Rams are going to win that game.
I rode Stafford last couple weeks of my fantasy team, so I like the Rams. I think Detroit at home. I go no, we don't. I got Houston. You have Cleveland.
Good.
I got Kansas City. You got Kansas City. We both have Buffalo. We both have Dallas. You got Los Angeles Rams. I got the Detroit Lions. And then finally, Monday Night Football, the crappiest team of crappy old teams that I picked to win the Super Bowl, who absolutely is horrible, the Philadelphia Eagles, versus the Tampa Bay 9-8 Buccaneers.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to push an agenda here, so I got to pick the Buccaneers. Let's keep winning, Bucs. Let's do it. Let's push an agenda. If the Eagles lose, they should fire their coach and hire Bill.
Yeah, that's a great story, that Eagles coach. We hated him all year, haven't we?
Yeah, but everyone does. He's the worst.
Sirianni, he just, again, you get what you get. I mean, Patricia's now their defensive coordinator. They could hire him for being head coach too. Here,
I forgot about him. Bring him in with all the guys. Get the band back together.
Get the band. That game I'm gonna go Philly. I know you're gonna go Tampa. I think that at some point Philly puts it together, and the weather won't be in a factor for Hurts being a little banged up. And it's Baker Mayfield. How can you bet with Baker Mayfield? How can you ride with Mayfield? You're gonna ride with Baker Mayfield, Jack?
Yeah, why not? What have you seen from Jalen Hurts recently in the Eagles to be like, oh, you're going to ride with them? And Nick Sirianni, who is the most emotional, I keep saying the word emotional for these coaches, but they are. They're clowns. He's a clown. I won't say what's his name in Detroit's a clown, but because he's not. He just could sometimes get over emotional. Sirianni's a clown. He's straight up. He is a clown. There's nothing good about him. He was very talk about emotional in the Super Bowl last year. That was the most emotional coaching performance ever. But I can't pick the Eagles to win. I don't love the Bucs, but you're gonna go against Todd Bowles and all that. What are you doing on your phone here?
I'm looking up the reseed. You keep talking. I'm looking up the. I want to check. I don't think they reseed. That's all.
Oh, you're looking up the reseed?
Yeah.
Look, I'm pretty sure they reseed. That I don't think they wouldn't reseed. The only they're stupid.
That's what I'm checking.
No, they definitely reseed. There's an 100% chance that they reseed. It shouldn't take this long.
Well, because I wasn't on Wi-Fi.
He's been looking.
I wasn't on Wi-Fi.
That's an excuse. He's been looking up for a minute. I'll find it. Do they reseed in the
There is
NFL?
no reseeding. There is no reseeding.
You got it before me.
There is no reseeding. Champion again. Why do you doubt my answer? They don't reseed.
Did they change that recently?
No, they do not reseed. They've never reseeded. Just like the NBA, they don't reseed. The only place they reseed is a little bit in baseball based upon because of those wild card bullshit games they have. Okay, so that means that Cleveland, Houston's the number 4 seed. If they win, that game plays Baltimore. The Miami-Kansas City game plays the Pittsburgh-Buffalo winner.
Wait. The answer to that question is yes, but only for the divisional round. I think they do reseed, and then they don't after. That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Oh, well. We'll see what happens.
I don't think they reseed. You just went on a victory lap with like that they reseed, and I don't think they do.
No, I said they don't. I said they don't reseed.
Okay, they don't, and I said that they do. Yeah, and the answer to the question was I think they might. I think they might. Well, I wish we had Jay Trev on the line.
Yeah, we got to call
I'm gonna text him see if he responds, but
I don't know why they would do that, but you might be right on the division round because there's one bye, and the bye's home, so you know the home games are going to be Dallas, right?
Yeah, no. So I think they reseed to the divisional round, but then again, but it wouldn't matter. There's nowhere to reseed. It's I don't know. That doesn't make sense. You can either reseed or not. There's only one place to reseed. There is.
Right, would be this round, after this round, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll see. It doesn't matter. That means the worst placed team gets Baltimore.
Yes.
Okay, so Kansas City will not get Baltimore.
So here's what the reseeding argument.
Get Baltimore.
It would be if the Steelers beat the Bills.
Steelers get Baltimore.
The Steelers get that would mean they reseed.
Right.
Because it wouldn't be in the same part because the 2 should be playing the 3 and the 1 should be playing the 4 would be based off how the bracket.
It should work,
they definitely reseed 100%.
Okay.
You just admitted to it.
No, I didn't.
You just said the Steelers get the Steelers.
No, I say if they
Baltimore.
reseed, the Steelers get Baltimore.
Okay, yeah. And then one more thing with the NFL, the draft, Patriots did get the 3rd pick. So we're looking at hopefully Maserati Marv if the Bears trade down and someone trades up for a quarterback, and then the Commanders also take a quarterback. But we'll see. Another shout out. Speaking of the Commanders, they hired Bob Myers to help them find their executive positions, and Mike Borgonzi from Everett, Mass is getting they tagged him to get an interview. So.
One of Jay Trev and Tommy Trev's boys. I think Tommy Trev might have babysat them when they were younger.
Bob Myers,
check that out.
The architect of the Warriors, is interested in Mike Borgonzi to lead the way at them.
And I'll give credit to Josh Harris down in Washington. He's thinking outside the box, thinking that you don't have to stay within the football world.
I do hope it fails, though, because it's
it's not going to fail.
Yeah.
I don't think it fails.
So you think Commanders Super Bowl in the next 10 years?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Chiefs are Super Bowl next 10 years.
Yes.
You think yes?
Of course.
All right. How about Dallas?
Oh, yeah. This year.
Oh, wow.
No, I don't know.
Did you pick them to win the Super Bowl?
Dallas, I'm going to go no Super Bowl in the next 10 years.
Yeah, it's easy. I'd say no for everybody because it's a crapshoot, Super Bowl crapshoot.
Well, then you're wrong 7 times.
I am not wrong. Okay, so you're going, if we go all the way down to the bracket, right? Who are you going to go? You're going to go who for your final 2?
God. So this will be, can I give a head and a heart?
Okay, you know what? Look! You give me shit, and Kevin gives me shit about hedging my bets.
Right.
You know you do. You give me crap about hedging my bets. Okay, we can do a head and a heart.
Then you know what?
Head and heart.
No,
head and heart.
No,
I'll give you head and heart.
No, I'm not going to hedge my bets. So I'll just say the head bet is the head bet's the 2-1 seeds. So that's stupid.
That's stupid.
But I'm gonna stay true to myself like I have all year. And every time you ask me this question, from the preseason to week 7 to a week ago to right now, the Chiefs are going to beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I've said it all year.
You had Cleveland in the beginning of the year.
I didn't. I said they were a sleeper. I never, ever have said anyone besides Kansas City.
All right. Okay,
never.
so you're going to stick...
So I'm the only person in the world
You're going to stick with Kansas City, and you're going to stick with the Cowboys.
Everybody else who picked Kansas City in the preseason has at some point hedged their bet. I have not. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They are.
All right, so I'm going to go with Baltimore on the left side, and I'm going to stick with I'm going to go with your Cowboys on the right side. That if they can play well it's tough. Let me go with the Cowboys and Baltimore right now. I can't get the Eagles and Buffalo because they're both terrible. Or my first picks, but my head says Baltimore's really got that magic right now. They're playing well, and the kid's really healthy, which is important. So you've got Kansas City, Dallas. I got Dallas and Baltimore. Good.
Yeah, just real quick before we move on from the NFL and football and all this, and we get into the NBA and a little bit of that before we get out of here. I forgot to say this. There was a quote last night. It was maybe the worst indirect shot I've ever, a stray shot I've ever seen taken at someone ever. So I was talking about Michigan and the cheating scandal. So here's the quote here. Look, An Alabama official told me at the Rose Bowl last week, everyone, and I mean everyone, is stealing signs. Michigan was not the only school doing this. Kansas basketball cheats more than anyone, and they didn't do anything to Kansas. Wait, they're not the one who gets the shot. And they didn't do anything to Kansas. The only pure thing in college athletics is Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt sucks. That's where college athletics is in 2024. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, or you're Vanderbilt.
Who the hell said that?
Unbelievable.
Who said that?
An
That's
Alabama
awesome.
official.
That is awesome.
The only true thing in college
awesome.
sports is Vanderbilt sucking. I
That
forgot
is
to say
awesome.
That's a great quote.
Hey, good transition to the Celtics, because we're going to talk Celtics. NBA next is who went to Vanderbilt on the Celtics.
Well, who went to Vanderbilt and the Celtics? Didn't Luke Cornett?
Yeah.
But who went to Vanderbilt and the frickin' Pacers? Who
Oh,
keeps
your
hurting all
buddy.
our
Your buddy
players?
did, right?
Frickin'
Yeah.
Aaron Nesmith
Yeah,
guy
your buddy.
pissing me off these past couple games.
Your-
That game last night, though, like I
your
said,
buddy.
I'm not one to normally just totally blame the game on the refs. And again, the Celtics they didn't play any defense last night.
Especially
So they
since they gave up 44 points in the third quarter.
They had chances. They should have won that game without the refs taking away from them. But the ref single-handedly changed the outcome of that game
Single-handedly.
in a way that you don't see very often, because it was replayed and the call was overturned.
Yeah. Oh.
And the Celtics win. I mean, Brown makes a free throw, the game's over because they wouldn't have a timeout to advance the ball.
Right.
They'd have to unless they had a full court shot,
Right.
half court shot.
Right.
Celtics win that game. They single-handedly changed the outcome of that game. And we got a tweet from LeBron James.
Oh,
who,
God, here we
he
go.
had his meltdown the other day.
Which one? Which
The
meltdown?
3-point one that the refs were actually right upon, when his foot was on the line.
Right, I remember
LeBron
that.
tweets today about the Jaylen Brown thing. See what I'm saying? JV clearly got hit in the back of the head. They reviewed the play just to reverse it and say he didn't. Man, what? Good ass game to have an ending like that. And I see why y'all be going and y'all see why I be going apeshit out there when it happens with all those emojis. So he's talking about this is why I do what I do.
It's all
this
about
is why
him.
I freaked
It's
out.
all about LeBron, right?
And
it's
then
all
everyone
about
brings
LeBron.
up all the Celtics fans crying. They bring up LeBron last year getting fouled. Yeah, that was a horrible missed call. But if it was reviewed and the Lakers had a challenge,
Right,
it would have
it
got
would've-
overturned
right.
and they would have made the right. This was reviewed and
So-
overturned.
So I heard
And
some.
the League 2-minute report comes out at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, and I just
So,
looked
yeah.
at my watch
We got 4
because that's what
minutes.
Mazzillo said. I looked at my watch. We'll get it live. I think it was Dennis Ingram, the AD at the high school.
You talked about it today?
Yeah, and he said that the referee, one of the referees, is from Indiana, and his record against Indiana is 35-3 when Indiana refs his games.
All right,
so
I don't
let's
wanna
go
get it-
conspiracy theory huge on
The
that
only
one.
thing about that is I don't want to get into that because remember that ref last year? I forget his name. He was supposed to be a Celtics fan. They made up all these fake stats about him. He ended up getting caught in some sort of thing. He ended up retiring with some Twitter scandal or something. So we'll not get into where the refs are from thing. But yeah,
That's just funny. That's just
that
funny.
was horrible. That was a horrible.
I mean,
call.
we're
Just
watching
horrible.
that game. We're watching that game last night in between plays of the Michigan game, and clearly he hit him in the head. And then even if they say he hit him in the head while he was simultaneously touching the basketball, blocking him, JB still got a shot off, even though it was a sucky shot. So it's and then even the play after that.
Well,
not
before
that
the
Porzingis
before
does
the play
foul
after it.
Yeah.
During the Jaylen Brown play, they said since the whistle blew, Porzingis didn't go in for the rebound, so it should have been a jump ball. They're saying
Right.
that could have been a thing
Yeah.
too. So I don't know how they messed that call up that bad. I don't know if it's the refs or did the refs make the call or does New York make that call?
That's a really good question. We're going to hear from them at 4 o'clock.
All right, yeah.
You're
and
a
then
really good question.
The next one, yeah.
So then Porzingis does jump into him. And he admitted he probably did foul him. But again, let the guys play it out. If you're going to call that, if you overturn that call, and the Celtics had a good idea what they wanted to do defensively. Mathurin was never making that shot if Porzingis keeps his hands up. So Porzingis made a mental mistake there.
Mathurin might have jumped into him though.
Yeah, I know, but
He made a
there's
lot
no
of shots
review of
last
that.
night.
Yeah, and then I have to credit Mazzulla because of the play to end the game where he puts Cornett, Horford, and Porzingis lined up in an I formation, and he throws a lob pass, and Cornett almost taps it in. I don't think we're at 4 o'clock yet, Jack. So
No, we're not. But JHF did confirm that they do reseed.
they do. Oh well, I'm wrong. I was wrong. They don't reseed.
Yeah, well,
they do reseed.
Yeah, no, that was just terrible. And again, Missoula, you credit, he probably should have called timeout once Jaylen Brown goes in the corner, but Jaylen Brown probably should have passed the ball. But at the end of the day, he got fouled.
He did the right thing, right.
You can't really criticize the
right
end of the game like the last play because he did get fouled and he should have had free throws to win the game. I just want it to be 4 o'clock. We got like a minute. I got to see.
Do you have any more audio for us tonight?
Oh.
Yes, you do. On this one, we got a lot of good stuff.
For
Buffalo
sure.
Wild Wings and shit.
So there's It's I think it's Quincy Richardson and Vince Carter. They for NBA TV or something. They live stream and watch the games. So they were watching the game, and this is their reaction to the call getting overturned.
All right, here we go. This is absolutely really fun.
How did we just see what we just saw?
How, Sway?
Did somebody call Buffalo Wild Wings and say that we going into the? You know what? We ain't gonna say it, but it would look like this feel like a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial right here.
If you guys remember those old Buffalo Wild Wing commercials when they call in to go to overtime so they could
sell more Buffalo Wild Wings,
keep eating wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. They'd the sprinkler would come up and trip the field goal kicker or the guy running for the touchdown. I remember those. That was a funny quote by Quincy Richardson.
I think one of the things that if you play the clip, I know you don't have it, but just Vince Carter's instant reaction to it is almost identical to the Scalabrine's instant reaction to it. I would really love to hear the Indianapolis guys. Did you read? I read today in the paper that who fouled him?
Here.
Oh, here we go. Hold on. Go.
Here's Vince Carter's initial reaction.
This is the best.
Whoa!
Whoa!
That was my reaction too.
I know.
I could not believe what I had just seen.
There was a Buddy Hield who fouled him, right?
Yeah, he said.
Supposedly he said he told Missoula he hit him in the head.
Yeah,
and that's why Missoula wants to wait till 4 o'clock.
Let's see, it's 4:01. So
I doubt we'll see anything.
L2M.
So this is live on the air. We're live at 4 o'clock on this Tuesday.
1 minute. Yeah, no.
There's not going to be anything yet. We'll discuss that next week probably with the NBA.
That's just so good. So we're awaiting the league 2-minute report.
That comes back down to Jack.
What's the record? 27-8. And we're all pissed off about this.
That comes back down to, in reality, refereeing in general. We should do a show on refereeing in general. At the level that we see in high school, it's terrible. I know the guys are working hard, but it's terrible. And I just think that in the NBA, there's 3 guys. The court's really small. The guys are really big. How do you blow calls so blatantly? Are you just waiting for replay? What's going on?
I don't know. But the thing is, they got the call right on the floor. The guy they called it a foul. They overturned it. The call on the floor without replay was right. Do you think about it?
Right, but do you think that in these sports, even baseball, that they're waiting on a replay? Just like in soccer with VAR, if they have VAR, they know they have that backup. So if they really F up, they get backed up. And that's what the concern I have with this call is. If it was so blatantly a foul that everyone thinks it was a foul and knows it was a foul, where do the referee, what are they looking at on that replay that leads them to change the call?
Yeah, well, Jaylen Brown said the ref told him he didn't get hit in the head at all.
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
But that's the only conclusion. You have to come to that conclusion to say it's not a foul. To have enough evidence to overturn it. If it's not called a foul on the floor and the Celtics, who didn't have a chance, but it wasn't called a foul on the floor, and the Celtics challenged it.
It should have been a jump ball.
And the Celtics challenged it. It probably wouldn't have got overturned. I still would have been mad, but I wouldn't have been as mad because they didn't call on the floor.
Right.
But it still was a foul, and it should have been overturned and called a foul. But I wouldn't have been oh, that was such an egregious foul. How'd you miss that call? There's not so much evidence to overturn it because he does kind of get the ball. But when you call it a foul on the floor, you're telling me there was zero contact, and you were totally wrong. And that was not a foul at all. You're 100% confident.
So which
That's
ref
never
then?
happened before in the NBA. It hasn't.
So
it's never happened
which referee?
In something like this.
Which referee made the initial call, and which referee said it wasn't? He never hit him in the head.
Well, I don't know.
I bet you they're 2 different referees.
No, I bet you it's the same one.
So what's they back up? Did they go to? I want to know if they went to New York. That's a really good point, Jack. If they went to New York, but it brings up the integrity of the final part of the game anyway. I mean, the Celtics played like crap. They gave up 44 points in the third quarter. They didn't play any defense. They came back. JB really had a great last 2 or 3 minutes. He missed a bunny, though, when it was tie. And then they made the stop. They couldn't stop T.J. O'Connell. Is that his name, O'Connell?
Yeah.
Yeah, McConnell.
McConnell.
They couldn't stop him. I don't know. Anything yet as he's looking on his phone?
No, Adam Silver, figure this out. Honestly, your 2-minute report comes out at 4 o'clock. It's the most important 2-minute report of the year. What are you doing? Where is it?
Going apoplectic
Where is
on
this? And then we got him. No, speaking of Adam Silver, we got another guy. He's coming back in the league. So they asked Draymond Green. They asked Draymond Green to stop fighting, punching, and kicking people, and this was his reaction.
I had a conversation with Adam Silver, commissioner of our league. I just told him, Adam, it's too much for me. Like, this is too much. It's all becoming too much for me. And I'm going to retire. And Adam said, you're making a very rash decision.
Yeah.
And I won't let you do that.
I got to retire. You know what? It's going to be so funny when he does it again.
Yeah,
that first,
he's
when
going
he
to do
kicks
it.
somebody in the nuts, and it was, what do they do then?
Then
you can't suspend him. You can't
then you can
kick him out of the
then you
league?
can terminate the contract because we talked about that the other day. They extended him, right?
Yeah, he's
So
got
like $25 million a year for
100 million
3
left on
years.
the books. Yeah.
So Golden State's stuck with that money. I don't know what they do. That he's, why can't he come out and just say, listen, I have a problem. I'm trying to take care of it. I'm not going to retire. I'm going to be a man about this, and I'm going to do what's right. Instead, he's going to make it all about, I'm going to retire, and Adam Silver saved me, and now I'm going to come back and I'll do it again. Just
Hey,
these
he wants you to
athletes are
pity
such.
him. Nobody he wants you to pity him. Nobody pities
Right.
him.
It's just like LeBron. LeBron's a great player, one of the best players ever play the game, right? But don't you lose a little bit when you hear that tweet? Don't you lose just a little bit of goodness out of him? Why are you bitching?
LeBron's always
why
been
does
like
it
that
always
with
have to be
ego,
like
but-
about you?
LeBron and Draymond have different problems.
Yes, they do.
At least LeBron, at the end of the day, he's the all-time leading scorer. He's won 4 championships as the alpha. He has a right to be like that. Draymond Green is very lucky in where he was drafted in playing with Steph Curry his whole career and all of this.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
like, I wouldn't compare LeBron and Draymond Green, but Draymond's just, he's Draymond, and it will be, I want it to happen again because it'll be so funny. And it's always funny on Twitter with Draymond because the whole NBA community loves making fun of Draymond,
Hey, does he still have his podcast he does?
That's what I just played.
That was off the
he
podcast?
finally dropped an
Okay. He
episode
just
on
that
the
wasn't
podcast,
just
yeah.
talk. So on the
Still no report. We're at 4:06.
we're not going to get the report at
4:06. This is like the games.
Wait.
It's like the 7 o'clock start, and they all start at 7:10. We got to wait till 4:10 for the League 2-minute report. They say it comes out at 4. What is wrong with?
Well,
this
how do we
league?
know? What are you looking on ESPN?
I'm on Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Okay.
On the NBA Twitter account. Let's go.
Oh,
to the
Jack
website.
keeps refreshing Twitter, or X as
No,
they
they
call
just
it.
released Michael Pietrus names his all-time French starting 5. Ooh, we really want to hear that.
Let me guess. I'm not guessing that, by the way.
Tony Parker,
Whoa.
Boris Diaw, Ronnie Turioff, Florent Petrius, and Nando De Colo.
I never heard of half those guys.
Yeah, I don't
Never
know.
heard of- another thing I
That's
saw.
what we're doing instead of getting the League 2-minute report.
Another thing I saw in NBA as we go down, I just wanted to as we wrap up the NBA, John Morant's out for the season. Did you see that?
Saw that. That came out of nowhere, kind of.
I know. All of a sudden he's done. Who do you see as the?
Marcus Smart's still going to get a ring this year, though. If that was
Oh
a
my
tweet.
God.
Someone tweeted that. Should Marcus Smart get a ring if
Yeah,
the
but if
Celtics
fans,
win?
Jack, if fans tweet this crap or Mike
Pierce gets one
Felger
too.
says this shit, they could. It's all just people bloviating about absolutely nothing they know nothing about. That's all. Does Danny Ainge get a ring because he got Jaden Brown and Jay Taylor?
He deserves it more than Smart. He had more of an impact on this team than Smart does. Smart has 0 impact on this team. Danny Ainge still has a massive impact on this team. He's the one who picked Tatum when he had the number 1 pick, and nobody, 29 other GMs wouldn't have done that. 29 other GMs would probably have just taken Fultz.
No, you're right. I'm just saying that.
Danny does not get a ring, but he deserves it more than Marcus Smart does.
Correct. He deserves the kudos for getting the team to where they're.
This could be a conspiracy. They just never release it. They just pretend.
We didn't release today. Who do you like? It's been a weird couple weeks in the NBA. Like the Bucks have been playing crappy.
They got blown out yesterday.
The Sixers have been playing crappy.
Lillard sucks. I wish we should call Tommy T. We should have.
We could have.
He's been horrible.
Yeah, he has been.
Really, he's been bad.
Let's see. So the Sixers, the Heat have been playing better. Who's the main competition for the Celtics other than the Bucks in the East? You think the Sixers?
I guess the Sixers. Yeah, just because of Embiid. But you've seen. I know he was a little bit hurt last year, but he didn't play the first game. But he wears down a 7-game series, and
yeah,
you can figure them out. And,
how about
the competition
the
again?
Knicks?
It's like. It's cliche to say, but they're. I think they are really so much better than everyone else. Their competition's themselves.
Well, yeah, it's themselves playing healthy, not playing crap defense in the third quarter. They'll win a lot more games.
Yeah.
Well, they've only lost 7, right?
8 now.
8 now. That doesn't count.
Well,
I thought you weren't
7,
counting
yeah.
that game.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the year, we'll take a loss away. We won't add a win, but we'll take
a loss away. Okay. The Knicks made a trade as well for Anunoby, who's really seemed to improve them as addition by subtraction.
I don't know. I don't think that doesn't move the needle that much. Like in terms of what the Celtics are going for, maybe that makes them. They were in the second round last year. I don't see them getting past the second round again.
Okay.
Right? Do you?
And no.
Do you see them beating the Bucks,
No.
Sixers, or the Celtics?
No. But the Heat could beat any one of those teams.
Any one of those three? I don't think so. Last year was a fluke with that Heat and the way the Bucks played and the way the Celtics played.
True. Okay.
With the way Jaylen Brown played, I'm thinking that's a fluke. And then basically everyone else.
NBA
the Heat
West.
are not beating those three teams.
Okay.
They're not.
And the NBA West. Who do you like? What's going on
The Bucks.
out there?
I mean, the Bucks are good.
The Bucks
I like
are not in the
Not
West.
the Bucks. The Bucks.
Thunder.
No, not the Thunder.
Timberwolves.
The Jokicers. The Nuggets.
The Nuggets.
The
Nuggets are always the Jokic.
I like the Nuggets. I like the. I do. I think that I don't think the Thunder are ready yet to probably make the finals, but they have a chance to maybe make the Western Conference Finals. Hate the Lakers. The Warriors. Nah. The Suns. At the end of the day, there's a lot of talent there, so maybe it clicks at some point.
Yeah.
But honestly, probably the Nuggets, right?
So again, I think so. Let's go to Oklahoma City real quick. We'll watch that game. Do you think trust the process? Is that Sam Presti's out there, right? Do you think trust the process? Sam Presti will start to move some of his assets if he sees he can make the finals and then get a fluke win.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter who. It's got to be for the right guy. I don't know who's really available. So we'll see. Yeah, they should go all in. If they have a chance, if there's a player there that can really improve them, they should. But again, they're still a couple development years away with the players that they have.
They have a lot of assets.
Maybe
to
that
move,
Jalen
a lot of
Williams kid
assets.
becomes like a 2. Like he's emerging as a 2 now, but really solidifies himself as a 2. Chet Holmgren,
Chet Holmgren looks
even
good. Yeah,
better and all that, and Giddey stays out of prison, which might not happen.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I forgot.
They got some talent there.
Talent there, young talent. It's tough to win with young talent, though. You gotta get the Al Horfords and the Porzingises on your team to win. Any update before we get ready to wrap up here, Jack?
No.
Nothing.
This is bad. This is not good. Not good. We should leave the NBA and play in a different league. Go start our own league. This is bad.
Yeah, Jack. This is
a conspiracy.
This is what I deal with at home all the time. The hyperbolic Jack Boyle, who just goes off and bloviates about a couple of things. It's how it works. It's how it works at the Boyle house. Your mom and your sister would probably agree. I do bloviate a lot, but not like you do. You're almost worse than Kevin sometimes. Kevin just dies on his team. You just get all frustrated. Jack, I would be remiss to ask, what the heck is a Manchester United hat hanging out there?
Mine as well. We got to support the team right now. We're going through hell this year. We're just sticking with the team.
You're going through hell this year.
We are.
We're just sticking with it. Not going to be top 4, are you?
Again, you never know.
How do you get to
who's also going through hell, by the way? Arsenal, they suck.
That's Kevin's
So if
team.
an Arsenal fan, make fun of them.
That's Kevin's team. How about Liverpool? How about John Henry's team?
They're all right. They're pretty good. I think they're top of the table, so I guess can't be saying they're all right. But Man City's Kevin De Bruyne, who might be their best players coming back. If he can find any form and stay fit, they're going to win the league by 10 points. Especially with the African Cup of Nations. Mo Salah's going over there. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold, one of their better players, got hurt. So we'll see if Liverpool can keep it up the whole season. I think City win the league by 10 points.
Okay, good Premier League talk here from Jack. Let's see. Who else? What other sports? NHL. Whoa.
Saw this morning. Tennis, the Australian Open's this month.
Yeah.
The finals on the 28th. The bracket comes out pretty soon. Carlos Alcaraz, if you guys have listened to this podcast for a long time, let's go. We got to start stacking up the majors. Another chance to beat Djokovic. He's allowed in the country now. Let's go. I want a Djokovic versus Alcaraz final, and hopefully the seedings they're 1 and 2. But at least I want a matchup. I want to see that match.
Okay, we got Alcaraz and Djokovic.
And see what he did to improve himself.
You're going to stay up and watch that final at 2:00 in the morning?
Oh, is that when it is?
Yeah, it's always very, very early in the morning down there in Australia.
I won't watch any. Then if it's one match, sure. But if it's I won't watch him.
All right, the other thing I'm just trying to think. College basketball's rolling. We're going to get Kevin back in here at some point to do college basketball. Maybe get Jay Trev as well. It's a crapshoot after Purdue right now. Everybody who's taking the top seed is falling apart. And actually, the biggest story in college basketball right now is on the women's side with Caitlin Clark. So driving eyes as the game gets better and better.
Quick thing. This might not be the nicest thing, but Rick Pitino wants next year the St. John's game Again, I forget against which opponent, to be at home at St. John's because it'll be on at a specific time to celebrate Lou Carnesecchi's 100th birthday.
Well, that's cool.
But it's not for another year. So I feel like it's never good to plan
Yeah, I know. Plan out for a guy who's
a birthday.
Who's a centenarian.
He
Yeah.
just wants the home game anyways. But I just
And that little dinky gym they have down there. Jackson, check one more time before we hit off the air here. So it's been a good show. We did did college football and a lot of NFL. Good NBA talk on the Celtics. I'm sorry to say that we're not going to give you an update. You have to find it on your own with the NBA because the 2-minute report did not come out as prescribed at 4 o'clock, or he just can't find it. Did you go to ESPN? Just look on ESPN.
No, we're doing one more search all throughout the internet. 1 minute ago, league 2-minute report still isn't out.
Okay, is that what it said?
Nuts, yeah.
Oh, they're holding off. They're worried. They're worried it's going to be a major problem. They're worried. They can't do anything about it. They already screwed up. So it's just like I said. One of these days, I want to talk about officiating overall and the lack thereof good quality officials and everything else. So I'll let you wrap up, Jack. You got anything big we should be looking out for this week?
I mean, the playoffs, the NFL playoffs.
NFL playoffs.
And Kansas City and all you Pats fans want them to, I know the feeling, and I know you guys don't want to admit it, but I know you want them to lose. And I understand. I used to want the Patriots to lose all the time, and you just want it to happen as soon as possible because you know if they win this game, then oh my God, the hype train starts coming. Oh, they win the next game. Oh my God, they're 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Oh my God, they just won that game on a little fluke. Oh, anything can happen in the Super Bowl. Oh, they're down 28-3, nothing can happen. Oh, they just won again. Ugh. I'm telling you, you want it to happen. So I know you guys want them to lose. So we'll see. Okay, you want it to happen as soon as possible.
Jack calling out all Patriot fans out there wanting Kansas City to lose. And like I said earlier in the show, I don't think the Patriots every year, as a fan, you're never going to see what you had before. Just like the Yankees, it only happens once in a while. So, like I said, a really good show. I'm sorry we can't give you the 2-minute report. The NBA is really holding out on Jack and I. For Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle, and this is It All Boils Down to This, and we'll see you on down the road.
Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We are always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.